Guys, we need to talk about MrBeast's situation right now. He is in a pretty tight spot because one of his best friends, Chris Tyson, has recently come out as transgender, and some people even suspect MrBeast is faking his support to not get canceled. It's really turned into a huge controversy, especially with fans of MrBeast. Chris opened up about using HRT in a recent tweet and even changed their Twitter bio to say any pronouns. And everyone is talking about how this will affect MrBeast going forward, since we all know that a large majority of his audience won't be too accepting of such a change. The news shocked a lot of people, and everyone was waiting to see how MrBeast and the rest of the team would react to Chris's transformation. Thankfully, everyone seemed to be completely on board with it. When Chris tweeted about how important hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, is and how it is literally saving his life, MrBeast and Carl were the first to support Chris by replying, "Got you," and "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." Other comments from his friends were just as supportive, but a lot of people on the internet weren't as happy. Chris was pretty much swarmed with comments like, "God, they love the life-saving part, don't they? It's so manipulative," and "Save your selfish needs, that's it. Your kid is going to suffer. No respect for this behavior. MrBeast is now banned in my house." But this all went down on Chris's second account. Things weren't really announced to the public until they quoted a tweet that showed Chris's transformation, asking what happened with HRT, and it's only been 2 months. And to no one's surprise, MrBeast and his team were just as supportive this time around. Nolan also showed his support by tweeting about how proud he was of them. "Holy smokes, I'm proud of you," but MrBeast chose a slightly different path and made sure that everyone knew where he stood on this. He actually chose to actively fight people in the replies that were being transphobic to Chris. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes man cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. But MrBeast was having none of it. He replied saying, "Opinion irrelevant. Ratio." And when the same user tried to stir up more drama by calling MrBeast a coward, MrBeast refused to engage anymore. At first, it really looked like the entire team was accepting Chris for who they are. But then some suspicious DMs came out that might indicate that MrBeast has been lying to try and not get canceled. The DMs were posted online by an anonymous source saying that MrBeast is two-faced and pretends just to make people happy and earn more money. The DM in question show MrBeast saying, "We have to support Chris, like it's critical to the business. Creators have been canceled for less. I know there's an adjustment period, but we need to be completely supportive even if it's awkward. We need to keep up our views, our conversations. This is a business." And there was even a second DM where MrBeast is being asked if he actually supports Chris, and it looks like MrBeast says the exact same thing as before, that he has to or he'll get canceled. Y'all, this is extremely shady, because if these DMs are real, then MrBeast is lying to his friend's face just to not get backlash for what he really thinks. Although Keemstar jumped in pretty quickly to say that the DMs are 100% fake according to MrBeast, but MrBeast hasn't said anything about it himself, which is pretty suspicious. However, MrBeast has been pretty vocal online about his support for Chris, and Chris even came out to say that he's known about it for a while now and that he loves them no matter what. So no matter what people think MrBeast thinks in private, the image he's showing is one of full support. Some fans of the channel aren't totally convinced though, and have pointed out that MrBeast might be uncomfortable with Chris's new appearance and behavior. The entire live stream opening 1,000 mystery art boxes has actually been pretty criticized because of Chris's look in it, and a lot of people have been saying that the rest of the team was feeling uncomfortable around him. And not only that, but people also think MrBeast is feeling uncomfortable with Chris's new jokes, like when they pulled up a poster of a girl and joked that it was MrBeast. Fans think MrBeast looked uncomfortable with the comment and that he quickly tried to change the topic to get away from the joke. But apparently Chris's new looks aren't the problem. A lot of people actually think he acts differently as well, which obviously makes sense as they're leaning more into their new identity. But guys, it's actually gotten to a point where people think that the way he acts might influence his son Tucker badly, and somehow people are blaming MrBeast for this? Some people have no chill. This person on Twitter brought up the fact that Chris let his son wear shoes with a heel and even dragged MrBeast into it, saying he needs to stop Chris, like he could ever have an influence on Chris's life. Some people were even accusing Carl of having turned Chris feminine just because he's gay. But guys, let's be honest, Chris didn't just change overnight. They've actually been through this process for a while, and his wife and child probably knew about it before anyone else. Chris actually started to express themselves more freely than ever since they started breaking things things off with their wife in 2022. This whole thing started off pretty slowly actually, and while he got some confused reactions, nobody accused him of trying anything with Tucker, and no one really thought this meant he was trans either. He actually didn't indicate to it at all. People just kind of assumed this was him exploring himself because Chris had officially been out as bisexual since November of 2020. And according to them, they were well aware of their orientation since they were 16. I am bisexual, and when I told a few people I did when I was 16, I got a lot of negative backlash from friends/family. It's not until recently that things got pretty crazy. Chris started showing up in MrBeast's videos in pretty feminine clothing and longer hair. Honestly, they were probably just becoming more comfortable with themselves and decided to slowly ease into what they really wanted to be. It kind of makes sense considering they received backlash just for being bi, and being trans is a whole nother can of worms. However, Chris being accused of all of these awful things just because they're trans didn't only start to get to Chris, but also to MrBeast, who refused to have this narrative of Chris destroying his reputation going around. When a popular commentary channel, SunnyV2, made a video titled "Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for MrBeast couldn't stay quiet anymore and just had to defend his friend. Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare, he's my friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. And as if all the transphobic comments weren't enough, people were also speculating whether MrBeast will fire Chris because of all of the drama they brought to the channel. Honestly, with all of the evidence of MrBeast supporting Chris, there's absolutely no way this will happen unless Chris makes the decision to quit. It actually gets even worse, since some people are theorizing that MrBeast is stuck with Chris no matter what, and that even if one day he wanted to fire him, he wouldn't be able to because it will mark him as transphobic and a bad friend, which would pretty much end his career. But on the other hand, so much of his audience being what it is, it could also mean that keeping Chris might end up in increased hate and a massive drop in views and interactions. Even if people didn't actively start to send hate to the team and Chris, people just not tuning in could be pretty disastrous for MrBeast. Basically, a lot of people think that MrBeast might lose support no matter what. However, a lot of people think Chris should be fired from the team for a whole other reason. Y'all, as it turns out, Chris hasn't always supported the trans community himself, and he has said some extremely hurtful things. People uncovered some old tweets that they've made that are extremely transphobic, anti-Semitic, racist, and even referenced loli, which refers to anime involving very young girls. It's something that people on both sides agree should not be allowed to continue, but MrBeast hasn't addressed the situation at all. Instead, he is still fully supporting Chris in his trans journey, like even helping them sue people who are being transphobic online. Two different users came out to say that they genuinely got sent an email that they were being sued. So it looks like MrBeast really is 100% in support of Chris. Or is he just trying extremely hard not to get canceled? But at the end of the day, it appears that he has no intention of addressing his friend's past mistakes and just focusing on the one issue. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you guys think of this whole situation. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out this other video for more celebrity drama.